Hello, and welcome to the House of War. Today on Breaking Chains, we are traveling to the very extravagant land of India. And I want to show you some scarves made in a very precious program there. And this is a one-time thing that we had them make as an experiment. And so I want to show you some incredible ways that you can use these scarves. One of them is on my wrist right now. And I would never have known to do something like this, but I actually interviewed someone who came to the interview with a scarf tied on her wrist. And I thought that was very interesting. Another way to use this little scarf is to make a necktie, which is back in. I don't know if you've noticed on airlines, not many of us are flying, but they're now wearing these scarves again, kind of like I did when I was a teenager, hello, but just a little necktie, or in your hair as a ponytail. It makes a great stocking stuffer. It makes a great graduation gift. It makes a great Easter basket gift, or just a gift, you know, you could tie it on a package. But another thing that I've seen done a lot is they tie it on a purse. So when you're not wearing it, or if you want to take it in case you want to pull your hair up, you can just tie it on your purse like that. And then you have a cute little touch of something like that on, in this case, our kantha bag. But I want to tell you about the program in India that makes these. Years ago, decades ago now, I got a call from a congresswoman who asked me if I would visit a program in India where they have multiple sites. They literally have built a village, and they have well over 550 women and children. They have different homes the girls process through. And then on this property that's like a village, they have little houses and a kitchen and job training where they do leather goods. And then there's this huge room where all these girls sit, hundreds of girls sit and sew, and they sew stuff like this. And so as far as the eye can see, there's all these precious rescued Indian girls learning to make a living by sewing. And in that country, you can make a living sewing because once a British colony, they all wear uniforms to school, and they don't buy them ready-made. So every year a child has to get a new uniform. And so a woman can sew at home with a sewing machine and literally support herself for up to 3 times or more of what a man makes. And so it's a real income. She's sitting there watching her own babies, not working for anybody else. In Asia, many times, if a woman works for somebody who's not a family member, they're easily exploited. And so working from home while she watches her babies is a really powerful way to make a living. And so on this precious property, I took a jeweler with me. And the first day we sat down with 38 girls, and we were all sitting at the table making jewelry. And one girl would make something, and we would ooh and ah because she had a really good talent at it. And then the next girl would make something, there would be dead silence. And so we learned quickly that, okay, we're not letting everybody design jewelry, because there's no way you want to come down on somebody who's wounded and healing and maybe not as gifted as the next person. So that night, in their little guest house, the jeweler and I stayed up almost all night. And she made one design, and I sat there and made 38 little baggies and counted out every bead, every finding, everything that was necessary. And the next day, we sat at a table with 38 girls, and they all made the same necklace. And then when one girl would do a really good job and another girl kind of struggled at it, we would have her go over and show her how she did such a great job. But we learned at the same time, because we went through their wholesale markets of fabric, and India is just mind-boggling when it comes to fabric. And they just have everything from simple chiffon and georgette like this, which is very lightweight and washable, to exotic and extravagant things that are dripping in real pearls or real gold, or just amazing fabric. And of course, they waste nothing, so they recycle everything. But these precious little scarves were an experiment to train a bunch of girls, simple sewing, but it's perfect. You look at this, if any of you sew, which I do, or at least I used to, you will see that this line is perfect. They have done such an excellent job, and we have them in every color of the rainbow. And you can go online, you can come into our stores and take a look at them. So when this congresswoman asked me if I would go visit, she had just run electricity to this whole village. So what starts out is they find the women, they rescue the women and children in the city, in the slum area, in these horrible areas of town where there's just incredible poverty and incredible abuse and exploitation. And there they have a 5-story building where about 150 children are, and they come into a school program and then another building for women. And if they prove themselves in that year that they're serious about getting out of that situation and exploitation, then they move them to their village and to their multiple other sites. The first time I went with my husband, because I was meeting their director, who was a man, and we were driving from that village back into the busy city in the slum area, and it was dark at night, and they were playing music in the car. And, you know, my husband and I have been doing this kind of work for decades, and we rarely cry, but we spent more tears in that place, tears of joy, tears of hope, because what these Indians are doing for their own nation is absolutely phenomenal. They're pouring their lives out. They have a dental clinic in the red light district where women can come in and get dental care, but also share what's happening to them so that they can actually hear their story and step into their lives. We were in a program with their school kids where the kids were all fighting to talk to us, and they had to raise their hand and talk. And one little boy raised his hand, stood up, and his crisp white shirt, he said, all of 10 years old, he said, "Once upon a time," he said, "I was a runaway. My mother threw me away because I had leprosy. I got on a train and I ended up here in this city. And I was eating garbage. And I cried out to the sky and I said, if there's a God, I can't take it anymore." This is a 10-year-old child going, "I can't take it anymore." And he said, around the corner came Uncle. And that's the director of the place. And he said, he stepped into my life and he said, "Now look at me." He said, "I have clean clothes. I go to school. I can read and write." He said, "I have a home and I have a family." You know, I just sat there and wept. What little 10-year-old boy has to cry out and say, "I can't take it anymore"? And yet stepping into his life was this incredible team of partners that stepped into his life and are raising him to dream. And I could tell you story after story after story from that place, one beat at a time, one stitch at a time, one book at a time, one lesson at a time, and just wraparound services, doing for their people whatever needs to be done. And it's such a needy place. So it is our privilege in the war world to work with incredible partners. The world has come to a screeching halt, but war partners are quietly and intentionally and passionately stepping into lives right now. I got an email this morning from a partner in India who just started another red light district outreach and has pulled 15 more women into a safe place. So despite the fact that the world is in an uproar, that we don't know the future, our partners are faithfully invading the darkness with the whisper, "Come to the light. We'll teach you to make a living." When you wrap a scarf like this around your ponytail, around your purse, around your wrist, around your neck, or give it as a gift, you are lifting lives to worth and dignity. So I thank you for joining us. Be sure to like and subscribe on YouTube and share and comment below that you have shared on Facebook to be entered into this week's giveaway of one of these scarves. From our house to yours, this means war.